Welcome to the Arnie Ball Show. Tonight we're going to review our big win at Penn State and also a conference victory at Mercyhurst. George Yacobu is our player guest tonight, and we'll preview our upcoming matches against Lewis and Loyola. So please stay with us.
Michael Jordan, UNCF, take one.
We're here to tell you about the College Fund. It was set up to help deserving kids get a chance to be what they want to be. Are there any future doctors in the house?
Yeah!
Any scientists?
Yeah!
What about teachers?
Yeah!
All right, now who's going to play professional basketball? Come on. It's a good job. Please join me and support the College Fund. Your mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yeah!
Welcome to the Arnie Ball Show, sponsored by Fujifilm and Chestnut Hills Incorporated. I'm your host, Mark Franke. Big match at Penn State Saturday night. We won in 5. And one of the things that was in the Penn State student newspaper was a picture from their Friday night match. Penn State played Juniata, an in-state rival. And we have a picture of Coach Mark Pavlik kissing the assistant coach of Juniata. And so, Arnie, I understand that after our match, you were very disappointed that he wouldn't kiss you.
Oh, me?
Yeah, he wanted to plant one on you.
I didn't want to kiss him. I'd like to kiss his wife, though. That would have been okay. But she wasn't in a very hospitable mood at the time.
Well, that could be.
You know,
the reason, we probably should explain the reason for the picture of Pav kissing the Juniata coach is that the Juniata coach is his wife.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's his wife. That's correct.
I think the assistant coach, Dennis, at Penn State at one point, when you and he were debating an officials call, center suggested some part of an anatomy you could kiss as well, but that apparently did not come about.
I'm not sure that was Dennis as much as it was that umpire that was sleeping during the match.
That's right.
We might have had that discussion of some kind.
The officiating was somewhat questionable Saturday night on both sides, and the reason for that is that they'd had a junior tournament all day long. Both of those officials had worked from the early morning hours all the way through, and they were pretty glassy-eyed. Yeah,
actually, the assistant coach whom you referred to earlier, Dennis, over at Penn State, and I did really a good job of officiating the match. I thought we really didn't need those two officials.
That's right. They just had to reverse their calls whenever you argued. And in fact, we're going to show one of those controversial calls in the tape that's coming up in a few minutes. Before we get back to Penn State, let's quickly talk about Mercyhurst, because that's a conference match for us. They're in our division of the MIVA, and it took us 4 to win that one.
Well, it's certainly a good win. You know, it's the first one of the year for us after losing to Ohio State a couple weeks ago, and we needed to go over there, and the danger about that particular match was twofold. One is it's a 6-hour van ride, and we left at 10 o'clock in the morning, played at 7:30 at night, and of course anytime you ride that long, your legs become a little dead and so on and so forth. So that's a concern. The second one was the fact we were playing Penn State on Saturday night, and the kids are looking forward to going down to Penn State and playing them. So certainly just coming away with a win. We didn't play extremely well, but to Mercyhurst's credit, they dig everything we hit at them. I mean, I thought offensively we were pretty good, and they just kept digging every ball. It seemed like anyhow. But to come away with a win, certainly we're not going to give it back, and we're pleased to be 1-1 in the conference.
Saturday night we went to Penn State, and we've always struggled in that gym playing them. We're going to be rolling the tape here just shortly, and to set the stage, we lost game 1, won games 2 and 3 very easily, and then key substitution changed things in game 4, and we lost that, although I think we probably could have won it. And what we're going to see is the tape from game 5, which is rally score, so it's going to move very quickly. Here's the tape, Arnie.
Oh, the tape's on. This is the very beginning of the rally game. That's
We're in the blue. We're in the blue uniforms. This side
Javier
of
just to hit the ball off the block for us to score the first point in the rally game, and then there's a little scramble play. We jump up 5-1 in this game. Javi puts another ball away, so we're 2-zip. And as you know, Mark, the score goes very quickly in the rally score. And Mike Cummings hits the net there on a serve, so now the score is 2-1, and then we come back and side out. I was real pleased with Chris Gislin, our setter in this match. He ran the middle, and you know, Mark, we've not done much of that this season. And for him to do that in the fifth game, I think really shows some maturity on his part. The setter tried to tool Peaky and wasn't able to do so.
Pulled his hand back just at the right time.
Yeah. A really good blocking move there by us. Our blocking, I thought, was much better, especially games 2 and 3, and in this game, it's pretty good. They put the ball out of bounds, and we're up, I believe, 5-1 at this point.
There's a big block coming. Oh, goes out of bounds.
Yeah. Once again, we're in pretty good position. Just don't get our hands over properly. This is a long rally.
A lot of play at the net.
Yeah, a lot of balls touched here. Rock trying to put an overpass down, and we end up losing this with a quick attack from Penn State out of the middle. And as you got to remember, this every point's being scored here because it's the fifth game in the rally game. Once again, good block. There's a good block you're talking about. Really good movement by Ryan, and we blocked the ball back in the court. We outplayed Penn State in every statistical category, which is really unusual for us. I talked to Coach Hansen a couple days ago, and you know they beat Lewis and Penn State this weekend, or Lewis and Loyola this weekend. He said they lost every category but won the match. So. There's a nice offensive set by us, going on the backside to Peaky. I thought Chris did, once again, as good a job maybe as he's done since he's been here, setting the ball against the flow. Ball goes through our hands there. Good pass by Javi. Once again, we're running the middle. They make a dig. A lot of scramble play here. This is a great game to be part of, especially when you win. And there they are attacking the ball in the middle again just to score. A little confusion on our part. Rally games, those are real critical.
That's where Ricky's dad, who was in the stands, made a comment about Ricky not getting any meal money next week.
Well, Javi and Ricky, neither one made it. Now, we switched sides because the score's 8-7. We're ahead here. And they side out, so it goes to 8-8. And the game is no more than 1 point apart till the end now. I believe that's Ricky on the backside. They come back and we make a nice defensive play in the left back. But they block the ball, and then Javi hits it right between the guy's hands. Right between their setter's hands. For a kill for us. And then they kind of come back and put one down.
Pretty much a side-out game now, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. And that's what the rally game usually comes down to, and especially if you get ahead a couple points. There's Hector off their block with a kill. And the game was just really close at this point. The thing I was also pleased about, Mark, was that I thought we stayed real aggressive with our serving in Game 5. A lot of times teams aren't willing to do that because it's the rally score, and I thought we did a good job there of doing that. Here comes the play that I think we're going to talk about, a little controversial play here. You can see the ball on the floor. This ball was called out.
The ball's on the right side of the screen on the sideline there.
Yeah,
just
right there.
next to the Channel 6 logo.
Right next to the logo there.
The logo's off
now
now.
you can see the ball, and the ball is clearly in, at least a foot or so. The lines person down there is going to call this ball out, and obviously that's a very pivotal call this time of the year. But when you're on the road, stuff like that happens to you sometimes. Wait till Javi sees that, Mark. Really good play by us, coming up out of what we call the pipe attack. And they come back and side out also. This, once again, as you talked about, this becomes a side out game here, and tension's pretty high here. The fans are into it. This is just a great game at this point.
It's important to get a lead in Game 5 because if it becomes side out, you can't lose. As long as you side out, you can't lose the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, the teams don't necessarily don't have the capability of doing that all the time. But you're certainly right. If you get a lead and you side out every time, you cannot lose.
We're near the end now, I think, aren't we?
Yeah, Hector sails this one out of bounds.
Does that make it 14 all?
I believe it's 14-13. Ricky gets a kill for us. They get a kill back. Now it's 14-all. And their big guy serves out of bounds at 15-14. Big Miller, their big All-American middle hitter. And then Mr. Gislin steps up for us and serves an ace. And Javier's jumping around, and the Dons are able to celebrate on that ace serve by Chris Gislin in Game 5.
Which was a great serve because he fooled the bench. We all thought he missed the ball.
Well, I think he did. I think sometimes missing it's okay, you know, so, especially if it goes over the net like that one did. But I was just real pleased that we held our composure in Game 5. I mean, they had a nice crowd there, and they were obviously from Penn State. We served the ball real well. I think we made one serving error. It was real early by Mike Cummings in Game 5. Peaky's jump serving, Peaky's jump serving, Chris's jump serving. And the secret for us winning that match is what we talked about earlier, is that after Game 1, we served pretty easily. And that's a big gym, as you could see from the tape. And so we moved the guys back about 20 feet and told them to just hit it as hard as they could hit it. And fortunately, they had a young man by the name of Houston over there on the other side that we picked on and had a lot of success, and we were able to take them out of their offensive rhythm and block a lot of balls.
And that's really important on the road especially, but even at home, you want to make sure that you disrupt the other side's offense. Because a high-quality team will side out frequently unless you break down their passing.
So the game all goes back to the same thing we've talked about for years, and at any level, it's serving and passing.
Serving and passing, fundamentals. That's what volleyball is all about. When we come back, George Yakovu will be my guest, and we'll talk a little bit with him. So please stay with us.
Check it out!
The campus has it all.
Learn it, or work it, or play it, just do it. It's a cool place. Call now! Go to work, go to school, go ahead.
A child's mind can take in more during the preschool years than at any other time. What better reason to donate a little of your own?
Welcome back to the Arnie Ball Show, sponsored by Fujifilm and Chestnut Hills Incorporated. Our guest tonight is George Yakovu, a middle hitter with the team. George is a senior in his last year of eligibility and is backup middle and all-around expert on European affairs and these long van rides.
That's true. We have a lot of discussion about the European issues.
And unfortunately, I've been able to straighten you out on a number of those.
Well, not actually. I tried to correct some of your mistakes, but I was not successful.
George is from Thessaloniki in Greece, and Thessaloniki is, of course, the city that the biblical books to the Thessalonians were written.
Exactly.
So it's an ancient city.
Yep.
Also known sometimes in the West as Salonika.
Salonika, yeah, that's actually the name that it's most commonly used, because Thessaloniki is a big name and difficult to pronounce.
And the name of the city means something about a monument to the Thessalonians? A monument to Thessaly, that's what...
No, actually Thessaloniki is supposed to be the sister of Alexander the Great that became a Gorgon. That's how they became. It was the Cassandros, was one of the Alexander the Great's generals, and he married Alexander the Great's sister, and he named the city after her name.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yep.
So we'll put that in our little trivia book, and we might put that on one of our quizzes to Dan, the cameraman, later in the season. We'll see if he remembers that little piece of trivia, okay?
Okay.
George, one of the things that probably the area where you stand out on the team is your physical preparation, not only throughout the week, but also before the match. You really train hard physically.
Well, yeah, I've been doing that for 8 years, and that's the way I prepare myself for a game.
Does this go back to your Army days when you were in the Greek Army? Did you learn that kind of regimen?
No, actually, that's the way we were we were warmed up or trained when I first started playing volleyball. My coach was from the old Russian school. A lot of hard warm-up before the game. So I got kind of used to it. So that's the only way I know.
What kind of teams did you play on back home?
Well, I was in 2 years in the junior national team, which I play with many different teams. And then I was competing in the B national category, which is a semi-professional, where I actually play with teams from all over Greece. That's actually the teams that I play against too.
Did you play internationally at all?
Yeah. Just 1 year, actually, I had some international experience. The other year was just preparation time.
How did you end up in the States?
Well, I came here as a computers developer, or as a software developer, and I know that sounds strange many times to people that I say that, but I came down to Memphis, Tennessee. Then I've heard from a friend that he knew Coach Ball, that I can come and play volleyball for college. So I came here, I tried out, Coach Ball offered me the scholarship, and the rest, you know, I guess.
So you came here primarily to work or to go to school?
Yeah. I came primarily here to learn more about some software.
Software? And you work for our computer department on campus, don't you?
Yeah, I worked for CDP for 2 years, and I'm currently working as a teaching assistant in computer science and as a tutor for transitional studies.
Oh, okay. Let's talk a little bit about volleyball. You're a middle hitter. You're not particularly tall for a middle hitter, but one of the strengths you have offensively is you attack quickly. You get up quickly, and you're always there.
Well, yeah. If you're not tall, you better be quick. Otherwise, there's no way you can actually play. So primarily, I'm working out my quickness in order to get some spot and play and see some playing time, like I said with Mercyhurst.
What do you see? You've been here, what, 3 years now?
Fourth. That's my 4th year.
Okay. In the 4 years that you've been here, what have you seen change in the program? How have we changed for the better or the worse since you first came?
Well, I think the team is closer. Pretty much everyone is friends within the team. We got really good new units like Mike Cummings, setter, Chris Kissel, and of course Peaky. And right now I think it's the first time from what I experienced that we have no freshmen in our team. So we have sophomores, we have a lot of seniors and a lot of juniors, which that puts a lot of depth in the team, what I think.
And shows in our play, like Saturday night at Penn State.
Yeah.
A young, inexperienced team is not going to win a Game 5 on the road like an experienced team can.
Yeah, exactly. I think we fractured in the first game, and then we really came back and we won. It's actually the first time that we won in 4 years that I've been here.
What do you intend to do in volleyball after you graduate next year? Do you have any plans to continue playing at some semi-pro or other level?
Well, actually, that was the worst decision I have to face. Every year I go back home, I practice with the juniors national team. The coach that I used to have in my club team now is the coach of the juniors national team. And every year I have some good offers to play professional down there, which I'm finally figured out that I'm going to reject all of them because I go to pursue an academic career, which means go for a doctoral degree.
So you're going to go all the way for a PhD in computer science?
Computer science, yeah.
And do you have any schools in mind?
Well, yeah. Actually, my schools right now, I'm pretty much oriented if I'm going to go in different fields like artificial intelligence or communications or analysis of algorithms. But based on that, right now, as it is for now, I chose the first 18 schools in the nation in my department, and I'll apply to them.
And then once you've done that, is it your intent to go back home then?
No, actually, I would like to stay for at least 6 years here and work as a professor and do some research before even I think about going back home.
Okay. Yeah, so you need to do what, get permanent residency status to do that, or can your student visa be extended for that purpose?
No, actually, what I find out is that after you get your PhD, and if you apply to a school, actually the school will provide you a worker's visa, and then you can extend that to a green card. And then, of course, you have to go all this 6 years and 7 years process in order to become a citizen, which I don't know, but I want to go at least to the green card stage.
But I understand you also have a girlfriend back home, don't you?
Well, that's true.
And she's a medical student?
Yeah, she graduates this semester. She becomes a general practitioner.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So that's another part of the tough decision to make, isn't it?
Well, actually, that's one of the good thing. The good thing in that is that she's going to be. She wants to come here and do her residency.
Okay, well, best of luck to you, George.
Okay,
George
thank you very much.
Yakovu, a middle hitter on the team, a senior. When I come back, Arnie will be back as well, and we'll talk about this week's upcoming matches. So please stay with us.
Team spirit is alive and well at IPFW. That's because IPFW has established itself as an athletic power, not only regionally, but nationally. With 11 major sports, IPFW offers talented student athletes great opportunities. Success and support of IPFW athletics comes solely from the fans, students, faculty, alumni, and the prestigious Royal Dons Club. The Royal Dons Athletic Club has over 500 members who financially support IPFW athletics, enabling the university to provide scholarships to deserving athletes. Members will receive one or all of the following: season passes to all sporting events, special seating, hospitality room, plus Royal Dons apparel and gifts. Be a part of the winning tradition. Join the Royal Dons Club. We need your support. Call IPFW Athletics. Get into the team spirit.
Welcome back to the Arnie Ball Show. Arnie, George was rather upset with me after that segment about telling the whole world, millions of viewers here of Channel 6, that he has a girlfriend, because apparently he still thinks he's an eligible man on campus, so to speak.
Well, he is. You know, she was here for about 2 weeks over the Christmas break, and now that she's gone back, why, he's probably free to
He's forgotten all about her.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand why he would be upset with you.
Well, he'll get over it.
But he was pretty happy while she was here over Christmas.
That's right. George is one of those players on the team that's a real academic success. We have a high GPA. In fact, we lost a player for academic reasons, not because his grades were so bad, but because they were so good. He had a terrific internship in Costa Rica. That's Dave Zub. We've got a number of other players who are right near that 4.0 mark. We've got quite an academic group.
Well, this is our team GPA last semester was over a 2.7, and I think that's probably the highest one we've ever had as far as the total team is concerned. As a matter of fact, I think it was the highest one in the athletic department on the men's side. So we're pretty pleased with that. We got a couple of guys we got to shore up a little bit, but we've got some good kids, and certainly George will no doubt will go on and be successful with his PhD candidacy. He's a tremendously dedicated student as well as worker, both on the volleyball court and with CDP.
Let's look ahead to this weekend, tomorrow night and Saturday night, 7:30, Gates Center. And by the way, both of those matches are televised here on Channel 6. So if you can't get out to the gym and see them in person, be sure to tune in. Loyola and Lewis, they're in a MIVA, but these are not conference matches because under the new arrangement, they're in the other division, and we only play them once in the conference, but we're still playing them twice in the year just for competitive reasons.
Well, that's true, Mark. A couple things before we talk about those two teams. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Ed Leonard. While you and George were doing that part of the show, I went down to visit his class that's also televised, and he gave us a big plug. So thanks, Doc. I appreciate that very much. You had some very kind words to say about our program.
That's probably the closest you've been to a classroom in a lot of years.
In a long time, and but not near, but probably not the first time I've heard a bunch of hot air out of a professor. But Doc, thanks a lot. Doc's a great friend of our program, and you know, we decided to play Lewis and Loyola just because, first of all, we want to see them one time before we have to go up to their place later on in the season and play them in the league match. So it's a good time for us to see them. Obviously, they're very competitive teams. They're relatively close, so it helps fit into our schedule, it adds to our home schedule. As we had talked about, I think a couple weeks ago, we have 14 home matches starting this weekend. That's the most we've ever had. And it's a really good schedule, and Lewis and Loyola are a part of that. And we're very also pleased to have Channel 6 back on board doing the majority of our games this year. And I'm also pleased to announce that Ken Horman and Blake Sebring are going to do most of the play-by-play. There's a couple matches they can't do, but they're going to do most of them. So we're really excited about not only being home, but having Channel 6 back in with us and Kent and Blake.
Lewis will be pretty much a different team from what we saw last year when we split with them, but then lost in the tournament to them. Loyola we beat twice, and that'll be the same team. And, of course, we're mostly the same team, so we ought to be able to handle both those teams, I would think.
Well, okay.
I'm putting you on the spot, big guy.
Yeah, why don't you put that monkey on my back or what? Ohio State beat them both last weekend at their place. So you would think the advantage would possibly be to us to beat both these teams. However, Lewis will be different, but they have Victor Rivera back, who was very, very good. Maybe the second best player in the league, maybe the best player in the league right now. And they have another kid named McNeil that's a transfer from Canada. And last week against Ohio State, one of them had 46 kills and the other had 45. So I would guess that those two guys are going to see the ball a lot on Friday night. Loyola is the same team. The kid named Schultz is really their leader. He must play well. If you remember last year when we played them here, they had us down. We got on him, served him a lot. He broke, and when he broke, their team broke. I talked to Pete, same scenario when Pete played them up there. Ohio State played him. They got on Schultz, he broke, and Ohio State was able to win. I expect them to be both very competitive matches, back-to-back for us. It'll be first time we've done that this season. Should be great volleyball this weekend.
Well, I have complete confidence that we're going to win. Let's see what Dan, the cameraman, thinks. So,
yeah, he's not doing real well so far.
He did not do well last weekend. He predicted that we would lose to Penn State and that we'd be home at 6 in the morning, but we're not driving through the middle of the night, so he blew that one too.
Yeah, as you said earlier, if we'd come home early in the morning, it only penalizes you and I because we have to drive.
That's right. So Dan, in his wisdom, says that let's see, we're going to win in 5 on Friday and in 4 on Saturday. I also asked him to predict what time the coaches get home. This is good. 11 p.m. on Friday and 10:30 on Saturday. Remember ever being home that early from a home match?
That's probably pretty close for me.
Yeah,
not for you, but for me.
Yeah, right.
You know, I don't make extra stops like you do.
Friday night, the stop is at Pizza Hut, which again is hosting the team and the fans after the match. Pizza Hut at Canterbury.
That's
right?
correct. Tim down there, the manager, has agreed to do with us again this year like we did last. Every Friday night that we play at home, we can have the fans down. The players will be there, meet the players. They have a buffet, special discount for everybody. So we look forward to having people come after the match.
Well, that'll be a lot of fun, especially if we win. So that's on your back.
That's on the players' back.
So if you can't come out Friday and Saturday night at 7:30 at the Gates Center, please tune us in here on Channel 6. For our sponsors, Fiji Film and Chestnut Hills, for Arnie Ball, this is Mark Franke saying thanks for watching.